So, I'm trying to figure out like what's up, cause Mr. Kurt told me that he knew about me before he passed away. So I'm trying to figure out what's up. Mm, he's not saying anything. You know, okay. So this is the thing. you know, Everything cannot just be spilled out. Everything cannot be told to me. Everything cannot be exposed all at once. So I'm going to be patient with figuring this shit out. But he did expose to me. I used to work at a strip club in Richmond called Paper Moon. And he came in there one day and he told me that that was him. You know, so that shit crazy. I tell you, boy, life is crazy. That shit crazy. So I remember when he came in there, they kind of shut down the club, you know. So it was him and it was another gentleman. It was an older man that was with him. And I remember he sat right by the stage, right? In the club, there were mirrors everywhere. Like the walls had mirrors all over them. So I remember he sits down and instead of facing the stage, he's facing the mirror across from the stage. And, I'm saying to myself, I'm just like, oh shit. I was just like, I know he ain't looking at my black ass, because the thing is that it's a predominantly white club. So when people come in there, they're looking for white women, you know, and then on top of that, it's kind of like I said, you know, my body was not in the best shape. And then on top of that, I didn't know how to do all the acrobats on a pole, you know what I'm saying? I'm just typical average black girl that know how to twerk something. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about these girls is performing for this man. They climbing up and down the pole. You know, we were in the back. So the guy comes in, the manager comes in and he was just like, yeah, we got this politician in here. So, I need you girls to do what you do. Now, my thing is that the girls were very intimidated by him. I wasn't intimidated. I was just like, well, shit, his ass ain't in here for me. So then, I started getting nervous. Because I'm just like, damn, this nigga is not throwing out any fucking money. And these bitches is performing. These bitches is performing. You know? So, I gotta, I gotta go up there. It's my turn. So I go up there, you know, I'm just performing. I'm just dancing because that's the only thing that I know how to do. So all of a sudden, I see somebody slip some money on the stage, right? So I said, oh shit. I said, oh shit. So it was $2 though. I was just like, Now, you see, I told you I was green. This is when I first started dancing. I didn't know anything about what to do. And of course, the girls weren't going to try to school me. After him not giving any money to the other girls, they was kind of like, fuck him. So when he gave me the $2, I was just like, well, for one, the shit is $2. And then, but the thing is, like I said, I was green. So I didn't know he was trying to signal me to entertain him. So, I blew that bag. Because usually a man, you see, white men and black men are different, right? You see, a black man, he'll look out for all the girls. And the girl that he want the most, he'll tip the least. So when she gets off the stage, because he's planning on spending money on her, you know what I'm saying, when she gets off of the stage, which means that he may want to dance, he may want her to entertain him at the bar, drinks and all that type of shit. So when it comes to the white guys, it's like the white guys won't give you shit. And when they give you something, it's kind of like, come over and talk to me. I didn't know that. I was fresh in the game at this time, so I had went up to him. And I was just like real goofy. I was real goofy. I was real goofy, and I rubbed him on his shoulders and I said, thank you so much. And I just walked off. But what I was supposed to do, I was supposed to finesse my way in there. You know what I'm saying? But I was green. I didn't know. So, they ended up leaving. So I said, that was you. And he told me that was him. I said, wow. This shit is crazy. So at that time, I was around, I think I was like late 20 something. So I think he was maybe like 21, 22. But see, like I said, he was with an older gentleman. Because honestly, I thought he gave me the money. I was just like, I think he feels sorry for me. Because why the fuck would he give me $2? You know what I'm saying? But see, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to the strip club, the white boys, they know the game. You know what I'm saying? And they know how to fish out an experienced dancer. One that kind of know how to get down without them having to say or initiate too much. I just felt like, I was like, well, I think he feels sorry for me because I'm the only black girl in here. So he probably think I really don't be getting no clientele or nothing like that. Then on top of that, I'm not working this pole like them other girls. I'm just sitting up here being sexy dancing. But he told me that was him. He was younger though, I think. I'm starting to kind of pick up that he may have been, he may have not, he may have been different behind closed doors. But I feel like it's not even behind closed doors. It's kind of like in his mind. I feel like there was a lot of things he was hiding about himself. Because, I don't want to say too much. I can't say too much anyway, because motherfuckers is not telling me. Like, I'm trying to figure out how the fuck did he know about me? I didn't know anything about him. So, but at the same time, I told you, I had made a video talking about the guy the black guy I used to escort with. he knew local politicians. I don't know anything about Mr. Kirk. I don't know anything. And, you know, even when I know who my spirit guide is, I don't do research on them because I don't want that to affect the authentic connection between us. If they guide me or lead me to certain stuff, then okay. But for the most part, in order for me to be able to stay grounded, I can't be fed information about them. I have to stay in the connection with them. So, as tempted as I am to look up certain things, it's like, no. So what I do is I study more of myself because they're vicariously living through me, so they're connecting through me. So I'm going to tell you what I notice. So for one, I noticed that I had been watching a lot of political stuff lately, and I couldn't understand. I'm just like, this shit is making me sick. Like, all this stuff is bad mental health and it's making me sick. I was just like, why the fuck do I keep watching it? Then on top of that, it's like my hands be moving and touching stuff and selecting stuff. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? So, I've been pulled more so to Drewski. Now, of course, I already knew about Drewski, but I'm going to tell you, the first time that I saw him, he was doing a video with Scarlett. So I don't know if you know Scarlett, but she's like a gangster rapper. So I saw her rapping, but I saw she was rapping instead of a microphone, it was a hot dog hanging from a string. So I'm sitting here now. I know about Scarlett because she real gangster. But when I seen her do this, I started laughing. I'm just like, bruh, this shit is so fucking funny. How is she going so hard, but rapping into a fucking hot dog? Like, this shit is that shit was so funny. So then I found out it was Drewski, my son's father. He had already been watching. He already been knowing about Drewski. But my son father, he be liking that stupid shit. I don't know. he be having good taste with certain things, but like he likes comedy. He really likes Dave Chappelle. I enjoy Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, he's just too raw for me. You know what I'm saying? So I just, it's not that I don't like him, because I absolutely do, because he is a revolutionary, and a lot of shit that he say, it be true. I just don't like, when he attacks the LGBTQ. So, I prefer just not to watch him. You know what I mean? I don't have an opinion about him. I don't think, oh, he's great. And at the same time, I don't think, oh, he's bad. I just prefer not to get involved, right? So when I saw what Drewski was doing, I said, wow. I was just like, I see what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? I see what he's doing. It's kind of like I could see the bigger picture of what he's doing, but as I have been watching him more and more, I'm just like, wow, He represents unconditional. If you really pay attention to him, if you really pay attention to the things in which that he is like exposing, you know what I'm saying? If you pay attention to his energy, it's just, it's like I can see him very clearly, and I'm just like, well, wow, of course, he did that skit on conservative women. And that's the shit. That's one of the things I keep watching the most. I'm just like, why am I watching this the most? I just keep hearing this laughter in my head. So, of course, it's Kurt. And I'm just like, me personally, I really, I really don't find it funny. I mean, I find it funny. It's kind of like White Chicks, the movie White Chicks, when Marlon and Sean dressed up as white girls. That's what makes it funny, because they look funny. But the overall theme, I'm just like, I don't really think this shit is funny. You know, um, I mean, I don't know why, because it's kind of like, it's not, they say that it's whiteface, right? But it's kind of like, well, it's not whiteface. It's he's putting on the whole suit. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like Sean and Marlon when they did White Chicks. I wasn't offended by White Chicks, when they did that. I mean, I know I'm not white, but I'm just saying, because motherfuckers, if they do the blackface, then of course motherfuckers is gonna feel some kind of way. I'm not gonna have a problem if a white person is, it's really about the intentions. But if a white person dresses up as a black person, I'm talking about face and body. It's like, to me, they're not trying to make, they're not trying to be funny. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Robert Downey Jr. did that shit in one of his movies. You know what I'm saying? I didn't take offense to that. But of course, if somebody is trying to be racist, if they're trying to be nasty, then of course it's offensive. So, to me personally, it's kind of like, some shit is just too sensitive to like kind of joke about or whatever. But I mean, his ass be laughing. I just be like, you're not offended, because I don't find this shit funny. But there are certain things that he'll point out to me. I think he's laughing at the way that Drewski looks too. I don't think that he's laughing at the overall situation, because I heard him say that is not how conservative women act and behave. Because Drewski is making it seem like, they're well-rounded, down to earth, you know what I'm saying, but at the same time full of shit, you know. So when I was conversing with Kurt, he's just like, they're very uptight, you know. It's crazy because for the last 2 months, I had been having dreams about white people. And I'm just like, why is it so many white people in my dreams? So last night I had a dream, but it was more so, well, it was this morning. It was this morning because after I did these 2 videos before doing this one, you know, um, I had fell asleep. I had fell asleep and I was at a church. I don't think I was asleep. I think I was projecting. I think I was astral projecting. I was at like a white church or a home or something. I think it was a church. I was just like, who are these white people? You know. So, I think that he's astral projected, and I think that there are times to where he projects through certain individuals, and he's seeing, revisiting his family. I'm just like, damn, he's pretty tapped in. Like, but of course I think that he has help. And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot about him that I just don't know, but I'm just like, there's no way that he comes over to he crosses over, and he's doing all of this stuff. It takes them time to learn this stuff. But I mean, he's astral projected and all type of shit. Then on top of that, he's taking me with him. It's like he's showing me some shit. I'm just like, oh, well, okay. You know, he has a very dominant personality, and he has been confronting the fuck out of me about certain shit. And I'm just like, how the fuck do you know? How the fuck do you know? That shit be making me cry. He be confronting the fuck out of me. It's so off-putting because he's new, and I'm nervous, and I'm afraid because it's just like, how the fuck did you know about me? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up? Because there are certain things that, yes, I do know about, his assassination, but I don't know. This it's just, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna allow him to just, I'm just gonna allow him to just show me some shit. I'm always guiding everybody, usually teaching everybody when they first, not the ones that have been there, that know stuff. You know, he's very dominant. He's very strong. He's very honest and outspoken. You know, I'm like, wow. He's kind of like, wow. You know, he seems happy, so I'm just like, well, okay. You know, he told me I was beautiful, and I started crying. I don't know why I started crying. It wasn't tears of joy. It was like a trigger. It was a trigger. I don't understand what the trigger was. That's what I'm saying, cause he knows shit. He knows shit. He knows shit about me. He knew certain shit that was going on. And he will not fucking tell me. He's not gonna tell me now, right now. I just feel so seen. I don't know. I just feel so seen. I guess maybe it's my ego. Maybe it's my ego. Maybe it's because, like I'm the psychic medium, so I feel like I should be helping, assisting him, and nursing him, while it's so early. But it's kind of like, it's like he popped out of the egg and he's fully grown. It's like an elephant or some shit. You know what I'm saying? When elephant I think elephants be pregnant for like 2 years, and then when they birth that baby, it be a big ass baby. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just my ego. It's kind of like he's taking control. He's taking control over everything. Not everything, but he's taking control over the connection. Usually, when they heal, when they nourish themselves, they will move on. They'll come back and visit me every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in trouble and the signal goes out, they'll come. But it's kind of like with him, he just, you know, I think it's my ego. But I just feel like out of control, and I feel vulnerable, and I feel nervous, and I feel afraid, because it's just like, how the fuck did you know about me? And then come to find out, like, that was him at the strip club. So it's just like, well, what does this all mean? Why are you so comfortable with me? I just, God, it's a little overwhelming because I don't know. My ego tells me I want to know everything, but I know how this shit works. I'm getting over being sick, and you know, I'm working on my body. A lot of the stress from a lot of the things that I've been through have been weighing on my body. It has been stressing my body out. So it's just like, well, you know, we just need to take it really slow, because I don't want to live an overwhelming, intense life every day, you know. So, I mean, but one thing that I will say, he absolutely loves Zergenberg. He absolutely loves Zergenberg. So, I've never connected to Zergenberg. Well, okay, so Prince is also Zergenberg's spirit guide too. So we share that spirit guide, but Prince, he's just like when we cross that bridge. So, Zergenberg has been off limits to me for a while, and I mean, I'm just like, well, okay. You know what I'm saying? But Mr. Kirk, he loves Zergenberg. I said, well, okay. You know, he doesn't say anything, but he shows me visions. He gives me visions of Zergenberg. So, I really don't understand what they mean or why he's showing them. You know? So, I mean, I guess we'll put it all together later. I don't even know his birthday. I looked up the date to where he passed away. I saw how old he was, but I didn't look at his birthday, and I can't go back and look at his birthday. I can't search for anything about him. I have to connect with him, you know. So, I mean, anyway, that's about it. I have a feeling that he's gonna want a lot of like one-on-one time, you know. And I could tell last night that I have to cut back with making my videos because my son was hungry and I was recording. My son kind of got an attitude, because he's hungry and I'm sitting up here recording. My thing is like, nigga, you can make a sandwich, but at the same time, my son is very sentimental. So whenever he comes to me, and remember, he deals with mental challenges. So there's a lot of things that he can pick up on instinctively, energetically, emotionally. So, I can't necessarily hide from him. I have to be honest with him. But he's more sentimental. So, me taking time out to make him a sandwich, little stuff like that makes him feel loved. He feels very misunderstood. He feels, shunned from his father's family, but they do that shit on purpose. And I told him they be doing that shit on purpose. But it still doesn't make him feel good. Then on top of that, he's special needs. So when he goes to school, there's something different that he notices between him and the other children. And I think maybe he kind of feels shunned or overlooked by some of the other kids too. So, I was just like, I'm gonna have to cut back. I'm gonna have to cut back on some things. And I think that, I don't know if Mr. Kurt has a son. I don't know if he has a son or if he deals with things with his father or whatever, but there's definitely something going. There's a masculine and son dual dynamic, some situation going on here. So I just feel so fucking emotional. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel so fucking emotional. God. These emotions that I feel, they feel beautiful. They feel absolutely beautiful. I gotta go. We'll talk again.